Hurt people hurt people. This is a statement that's often repeated by social workers and therapists and educators, and it speaks to the very, very common dynamic in which those who have been traumatized or victimized then go on to victimize others, either in future generations or in expanding circles of victimization and hurt. And this aphorism, hurt people, I find very troubling right now because so many of us right now are hurting. There are sick people in our community. There are countless others of sick people all around the world, and so much suffering that is associated with that sickness and with the hardships, the associated hardships that all of us have experienced. And as we are looking towards the future, the light at the end of the tunnel, we don't really know how long the tunnel is, but there's definitely some light there. We're wondering what's going to be when we emerge into that light. Is it going to be just another dynamic of hurt people? Are our traumas going to find their way somehow towards new victims? Or are we going to somehow be able to transcend that dynamic of hurt people, and have that hurting end with us? Let us emerge into that light at the end of the tunnel without hurting others. So there's a model in this week's Parsha of someone who's hurt and who recovers. And that model is Yaakov. When Yaakov wrestles with the angel, the Torah tells us that he is injured in the context of that encounter. VaYishlach Hashemesh kasher avarat Peniel, the Torah says, the sun rises, Yaakov leaves Peniel where he had that wrestling match. V'utzolea al Yericho, he's limping, he's wounded. He's injured by that encounter. But Rashi says, no, he had been injured by that encounter. Rashi writes, Hayatzolea keshazarcha Hashemesh, he was limping when the sun rose. But after the sun rose, the limping went away. That point is made explicit by the Mizrahi, one of the great super commentaries on Rashi. A super commentary, I've said before, is not a commentator who flies. It's a commentary on a commentary. Avram Mizrahi wrote a very, very wonderful commentary on Rashi, and he makes very, very explicit that the added word, Hayat Solea, he had been limping, is what makes very, very explicit that the injury ended. The hurting ended with Yaakov. The sun rose and the limp went away. That's also a very hopeful thing to hold on to, right? That when you emerge sometimes into the light of day, the pain of the night before sometimes vanishes. So what was it about Yaakov that gave him this ability to heal from his injury? So one possibility, and I welcome others, is that when he's struggling with the angel, he tells the angel, give me a new name, I want a blessing. I want my identity to be transformed from my encounter with you. And that's where the name Yisrael comes from. That's really core to our identity. We struggle and we prevail. We emerge stronger and different and defined by our confrontations. And that's symbolized in a physical way in Yaakov's own body by the healing of his wound. But whether or not that's the explanation, I just think it's a very hopeful and helpful model to hold on to. That it's not always true that hurt people. Sometimes the sun rises and the injuries vanish. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. Please stay warm and stay safe and stay healthy.